welcome back to my channel. So I kind of wanted to skip the intro today. I have a very heavy topic, I guess, and something that's not really talked about in the Black community. Um, and I'm gonna try to do this without crying, so if I cry, please forgive me. But I wanted to talk about like mental health. The subject isn't really talked about again in the Black community. You know, there's been a lot of things happening in 2020 that really warrants this topic being talked about and just being more shared with within the Black community. God. So I wanted to talk about mental health because 2020 has been a heavy year, really heavy year. And within this year, you know, granted, I'm not saying that my life is hectic, not saying that, you know, not saying that my life is bad compared to other people out in the world, but also not trying to downplay what I am going through and what people are going through right now in this time. So, and I'm going to say this being frank, is that I suffered with depression. It's probably like the first time that I've ever said it out loud. And probably the first time that I've actually told a lot of people versus hence you guys that I'm talking to. And just to give you a little history of my depression, I was raised by a single mom. I'm really gonna try to do this without crying, but I have a little big brother. I have a big brother and he is mentally challenged. And I grew up with my mom and my brother, my father, and for the hints of this video, I will call him SD. And if you don't know what SD is, then I will tell you in the comments, I guess. But he was in and out of my life when I hit puberty, about maybe 11 years old, I guess. And I didn't really grow up with a father figure. I grew up with a father figure as an uncle, and he passed away he passed away when I was young. So that kind of left a void in my heart. And at that young age, I had a very strained relationship with my father. And I had a good relationship with my mom until the point where my mom and SD wanted to get back together, and they did. And that put a heavy strain on me and my mom's relationship. He lived in the house with us for about a year and a half. And during that time of him living in that household, my life was a living hell. I was verbally abused by him and even emotionally abused by him. I grew up hating men. I thought that they were scum of the earth, and he put that view in my head. I thought I was worthless. I thought I was not capable of being loved by a man because that was the image that he put in my head. And I suffered depression. There were times that I wanted to take my life. There were times that I had suicidal attempts. I thought literally about just literally stepping in front of a car and just ending it, because that year with him being in that household with us was just hell for me. There were times I remember clearly that I had like a bowl of pills under my bed and would take them and just fall asleep and hoping that I wouldn't wake up again. And obviously that didn't work because I'm still here. And so yeah, that was a rough time. That was a dark time for me. And thankfully things didn't work out between them two. He moved out. And I was still going through my depression, still just believing the things that he told me and the things that he would say to me. And I'm a big person when I say that action speaks louder than words. So if your actions are not matching up with your words, I'm going to believe your actions, not your words. And that all contributes to him because it never was like that. And so when he moved out, my relationship with my mom got better. You know, I finally told her some things of how I felt with him living there and, you know, just being open with her after the fact. And granted, I was still going through depression. I was in, I guess, my depression state for 4 years. When I turned 16, I was raised in the church. So I had this mindset just thinking like, you know, I pray to God he'll heal me. I'll be healed from it. And and I believed that. I believed that I was cured from depression. And so I put that out of my mind, you know, didn't really think that I needed to talk to anyone and didn't really get professional help with it. And it wasn't until I went to a different church that I talked to someone. I talked to my mentors, two very close friends of mine, and basically was still going through the same thing over and over and over. Still believing those lies and just frustrated with it all. And it wasn't until they told me that, you know, depression is not something that you can just get healed from. You're probably always going to have this, and it's just an everyday choice that you have to make, whether you choose to be happy or whether you choose to believe those lies and keep falling into that same cycle. So I started getting into this mindset. Okay, I'm going to choose to be happy today. I'm going to choose to be happy today and just choose to be happy today and just bury it and not think about it. So I went on like that for maybe another 2 to 3 years. And at this time, I really haven't had any contact with SD whatsoever. And it wasn't until I remember I went to a church service during the week, the middle of the week, and there was a message that the pastor was preaching, and something just convicted my heart. And I just said, you know, I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to him again. Because I reached out to him time and over and try to be the bigger person. And I'm the type of person, I don't like confrontation. So, you know, I just would just be quiet whenever there was confrontation with me and him. So I said, okay, I'm going to be the bigger person and I'm going to reach out to him. And I remember calling him that night, you know, saying like, hey, this is Cece or Cecilia, your daughter. The exact words that came out of his mouth was that I don't have a daughter. I don't have a daughter named Cecilia, or I don't have a daughter. Those words will forever be ingrained in my memory. I just remember crying, hanging up. I remember my mom running in and just asking me what's wrong, and I'm telling her, and at the time, my mom had moved on to another new relationship, which is my stepdad, but I call him my dad because that's what he is to me. And I remember him hugging me and telling me that you don't need him because I'm your dad. And I have never looked back. But I still have those memories and those feelings. And so, just moved on with my life. And I just said, okay, I have a dad now. Like, I don't need him. There are times when I still think about those moments. There are times when I'm still angry and upset. And my depression is not something that I can just get rid of. And I'm, even in my 30s, I'm realizing that. And with this whole COVID thing, it has been really hard. And I'm not saying, and I don't want people to take pity on me, and I'm not saying that my life is so hard. But I think just going through the whole COVID and sitting here and just realizing, like, wow, like, this has been a really, excuse my language, but this has been really a fucked up year. Just a lot of things within the Black community, police brutality, and just the racial tension within America. And I'm not saying that I am a professional with healthcare, or, I'm not like all in politics and things like that. I'm just giving you what I wanted to talk to you guys today about. It's just mental health, because again, that's my story. That is the mental health that I suffer with. I suffer depression, and some days are better than others. Some days are great. Some days I am good. Some days I am happy. And then there are some days where I literally have to put on a mask and just be like, okay, I'm going to get through this. I have to peel myself out of bed and just be like, okay, I'm going to get through this. And I guess I have a hard time talking about it because I don't want to be labeled as, well, she's just doing that for attention. Like, I see a lot of people label people with depression. Or she just wants pity. Or, oh, it's just a fad because she's always posting happy pictures. Or, what does she have to be depressed about? Like, she got engaged, she has a job, she still has a job, she has a great job, she still has a job through COVID, through this whole world pandemic. She has friends, she has family. Like, what does she has to be depressed about? And the thing is that you don't know people's life story. And I feel like once you talk to someone and you ask them, like, what happened, what caused that depression, I think you understand someone. I don't say this because I want pity. I don't say this because I want people to be like, oh, like, poor Cece. I say this because it's not talked enough in the Black community when it comes to mental health. It's not. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not. Because I just now made the hard decision that I feel like I really do need to talk to a professional. And I've been avoiding it for years and years and years because I just feel like, oh, my situation is not that bad. Like, I'm grateful, that I have my dad that loves me, my stepdad, which I call him my dad again, but I have my stepdad that loves me. I have a family that loves me, supports me, friends. I have a fiance that loves me no matter what, and that, we're growing our life together. Like, I'm fortunate to have those things. And yes, I'm fortunate, but I still have things I need to uncover or unlayer, if that's the right term. So I kind of just wanted to talk about that today because, again, I feel like if you are suffering with any kind of mental health, if you feel like you want to take your life, I'm just here to tell you that don't do it. I remember, just going back to my story, I remember I was talking to a friend about this at my kitchen table when I was younger, when I was going through my depression. I was just telling him, like, it was my childhood friend, and I remember telling him, like, I want to take my life. Like, I'm just so fed up. I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I remember him telling me, like, you're selfish, right? And that kind of, like, hit me. I'm like, I am not selfish. Like, how am I selfish for doing something that doesn't really concern anyone? And there's times that I still do feel like that. I'm just going to be honest. And I just think that I just put those memories back and just try not to think about it. But with 2020 being such a hard year, I just come to the decision and to the conclusion that I am going to seek professional help, because it's been long enough to where I don't feel like I can really contain it anymore by myself. And honestly, I know I have friends and family that cares about me and that are probably looking and watching this video and probably asking themselves, like, well, why didn't she ever reach out to me? Why didn't she ever talk to me? And I feel like I've done that a lot, and I don't feel like it's really helped me. And I feel like, personally, for me, I need to seek out professional help. So I'm going to seek out. So I made the decision today to seek out a therapist, to talk to someone, because it's not getting better, granted, and it's not getting worse. But I feel like I am on a slippery slope right now, especially with 2020, and especially with all the crap that's just been happening, and just with all the racism that's just been happening lately. I just feel like my mental health is really on a slippery slope right now, and I need to get professional help. And I just say this, that if you are someone out there that needs professional help, or that feels like they're on that slippery slope, I urge you to get professional help. I urge you to just talk to someone. I am not a licensed healthcare worker or anything like that, but I'm just someone that just felt like they just needed to talk about this today, because, again, when it comes to mental health, it's not really discussed in the Black community. It's not really talked about. And I guess because men are afraid to admit that they're weak in certain areas, and I feel like women are so scared that they're not, at least how I was felt, that, we're raised to be independent women, and we're not supposed to be weak either. So, we're just raised to be these tough people, because I feel like our heritage, going through slavery and things like that, we were raised not to be seen as weak. And I personally am just here to tell you that, honestly, guys, if you are going through something, and I don't know what your situation is, and granted, you don't have to tell me, because it is your story. But if you just feel like your life is just not where it's supposed to be, or you feel like you are just lost, I really just urge you to get professional help if you can, or just talk to someone. I will put a number down below that you can call. I'm pretty sure there is a hotline if you are having suicidal thoughts and things like that. But yeah, that's just what I just wanted to talk about today with you guys. Sorry, that's just what I wanted to talk about today with you guys. Nothing crazy, and granted, I won't be posting a lot of heavy topics on my channel. I just really felt like this topic needed to be talked about, especially as 2020 is ending, and we are still in the midst of a whole pandemic going on, and racial tension, and transferring, presidency, and things like that. Like, we're in the midst of a lot of things, and I think one of the things that I'm learning, that your mental health is key for survival, and just taking care of yourself. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to talk about with you guys today. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about with you today. I can't really think of anything else. So if you guys, yeah, that's all I want to talk about. Sorry, guys. As always, guys, just stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy the journey. And I will see you guys next time, hopefully with a better and more cheery topic, more cheery content for next time, guys. All right, bye.